What's up, everyone? Yes, right now, all you see is me because right now I am alone. Pong Soul is not going to be here this week. He had some stuff going on. Fuzzy should be here in a little bit, but hey, I've done solo streams before, so we'll see when Fuzzy gets here. But for now, hi, how you doing? This is Fun Speculation Podcast, and I am Mav. Thank you all for tuning in, and we're gonna have some fun this week because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Yeah, it's been a crazy last, I guess, 36 hours or so, roughly here. But this is a place to focus on games and community and fun, and that's what we're gonna do. So, thank you all for absolutely being here on this Thursday. It is 9/11 today. It is September 11th. So that is a very important day also for remembering things that happened a long time ago here in the U.S., or not that long ago, but it feels like yesterday, but um, it's not. It's, can't believe it's like 24 years ago or so that happened. So yeah, remembering all that today, but also the events yesterday was crazy as well. But yeah, like I said, we're not going to go into all that stuff. Today is absolutely a place to have some fun, chill, relax, talk about video games, and talk about fun things that we're all passionate about. So I appreciate everybody again for being here. Thank you all. What's up to Masshole, who is first in the chat as usual? Always tries to make his presence known, being first there in the chat. BT Maverick 707 here hanging out as well. Shout out to you. Leonard Herrera, what's up to you? Appreciate you being here. See, we got Cyber Gunter here hanging out as well. Thank you all for being here, as I've said already, probably like 4 times to start the show. But everybody, let's get into this. What's up, Web Dave? How are you doing? Yeah, I did say last week because I didn't have a show last week because I wanted to watch the Cowboys lose on Thursday Night Football for the NFL kickoff. And I was super excited to watch the first NFL game of the season. So I did that, and I did say that I might have a Mavcast to make up for it. Instead, I hopped over on Web Dave's show this past weekend, so I had fun over there hanging out with Dave on Sunday. Shout out to Dave and everybody over in his community, over the Gamers Council. That was a blast there hanging out. But yeah, it's been a pretty crazy week for gaming. Just with the amount of good games we're getting right now, actually, the amount of releases that we're getting, like, this is early September now. This is usually heavy into the sports game season, as I've been super sucked into sports games right now. Like, Madden's got its hooks on me this year, more so than it has in recent years. Actually, I think the last Madden I really super got into was probably back in like 2019, something like that. But it's kind of getting back to those old ways of playing sports games a lot. I've been playing a lot of NBA 2K. I've been playing a lot of Madden. NHL comes out this week as well. I'm kind of itching to play that also. But also we have things like Borderlands 4 just hit. And I know a lot of people have been playing Silksong, which is another game that could be a Game of the Year contender. Super huge release with that. We also had Hell is Us hit. We also have Cronos the New Dawn hit. Just a lot of games that were anticipated by many people, all dropping within like a week's time span. And this is just September. I don't think this is going to slow down anytime soon. We're going to have lots of games coming in October and November and stuff. So really good time to be a gamer. As well as this week we had a Nintendo Direct get announced for Friday. And this is actually supposed to be like a 60-minute Nintendo Direct. So that's long for them. Now, it hasn't been a whole lot of awesome new announcements for games for the Switch 2 since that device came out. I mean, Mario Kart World was the big game. People are looking forward to Metroid Prime 4. They had the Donkey Kong game that came out that many people have been playing and enjoying. But there hasn't been like the original Switch when it launched, like how it launched with the Mario Odyssey, and it had Breath of the Wild, and all that stuff hit like right after the launch or right during the launch of the Switch. That kind of took off, and it hasn't really been that same energy. In fact, actually, I say I've been seeing a lot of people saying they prefer to play the new Sonic racing game over Mario Kart World, as players have been leaving Mario Kart for that. Which, hey, I always thought the Sonic racing games were really good. So if they get a lot of people to play that, hey, kudos to them. I mean, I would argue probably that it looks better. Um, it just as fun like that I've always had with the Sonic racing games. So I haven't tried this one yet, but I've seen plenty of footage of it, and it's a multi-platform game. So you have all the different communities getting together to play a kart racer, which is pretty cool. So I might be into looking into getting that. Actually, we'll see. I know I've enjoyed definitely ones in the past. So, but yeah, Nintendo Direct is around the corner. We'll see what they have to announce and as well. But yeah, I want to kind of get into some of, and I wanted to ask Fuzzy about this because I know he's been playing a lot of Silksong. But I kind of wanted to get into this past week, like of game releases. Like 2K actually hit and has had good reviews. As most 2K games kind of have decent reviews, but this one kind of seems like it's been a little bit higher. I will speak to the fact that I love sports games, and I'm not one of those that's like I'm si- I do not like necessarily feeling like I'm playing for the same game every year, but at the same time, I understand why they do what they do with the sports games, because you can't completely like blow up everything you made that took all these years and just start from scratch every single year. I mean, if that happened, the product we would get each year would be absolute dog shit. I mean, instead they improve upon what they have, add brand new things. Sometimes things get completely redone, sometimes they don't. And that's just kind of what you can expect with sports games, and that's why they still play really well and they look good and they can run on anything. But yeah, this I will say that I had the same kind of thoughts on this year's Madden. I felt like a big improvement. I will say with this year's NBA 2K, it also feels like a big improvement for me. I feel like the mechanics of the physics, the smoothness of the gameplay and everything is up a notch with that. There's things I don't like. I don't like how they're forcing the WNBA and the NBA together in the My Team mode. Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to knock like women as far as like athletes or anything like that. But like when you're putting like the WNBA players in there with the men and they're all playing together, it just seems like fake. Like this is you wouldn't have these WNBA players holding their own against the greatest NBA players. I just it's not really realistic. You know what I mean? Now, not to say that the WNBA players aren't great athletes and great players themselves, but just physically they're not going to match up against like seeing like a WNBA center or power forward like trying to get rebounds over like Anthony Davis is just fucking ridiculous. You know what I mean? But trying to get put backs and shit like that against like some of the bigs and stuff. I think it's easier to make it make sense for the guards, but like for the forwards and centers and stuff, it just kind of looks stupid and makes it pointless. So I don't like how they in the My Team mode they put all the cards in together and they kind of like force that upon you. Now you can choose not to have any of the WNBA players and stuff like that, but when you're pulling packs or you get rewarded packs and stuff, like now if you get like oh my god, I got an 87 or 89 overall like player, that's gonna be the best player on my team, and then you see it's fucking Angel Reese. Like, okay, well that's fucking useless. like I mean, really, come on, what am I gonna do? Fucking if somebody's got Tim Duncan, I'm gonna fucking put Angel Reese against fucking Tim Duncan? Yeah, that's gonna really get me some fucking wins online. Just saying. Don't do that. But besides that, the gameplay, the smoothness of it all, and all that shit, I think it plays really well. I think the mechanics have been improved. I like stuff they added to the my court and the park modes and stuff like that. I feel like it's easier to get into than it has been in the past years. The career mode I feel like is quicker to get into and start into. I feel like the it's easier to uh, dominate in the way you want to and play the style you want to play, even without having the most points spent on your player and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I've been having I've been having a lot of fun with 2K. Been having a lot of fun with Madden. Sports games got its hooks in me. And that's why I haven't really played a lot of these new games right now because I'm in sports game mode. That'll at some point kind of leave me, and I will be checking out some more of the other games. In fact, actually, right now I want to get Borderlands 4. And that's kind of one of the first games I want to talk about. And I'll wait till Fuzzy gets here if he's going to be able to make it to get into Silksong. He did send me the tidbit stuff, so I'm pretty sure he's going to be here. But I may have put the wrong time to start on the post or something yesterday. Did I put 9 p.m. Eastern time? Or I think I made a post or set up something and I accidentally put 9 p.m. Eastern. You put 8 p.m. Eastern? Okay. I don't know. But anyway, Fuzzy sent the tidbit stuff, so I think he'll be here. So when he gets here, I'll ask him about Silksong. But I kind of want to get into Borderlands 4 because Borderlands 4 is interesting, right? Like, we've had, like, good reviews, right? I mean, I even saw, like, a couple publications. In fact, I'm going to bring up some of the reviews right now on Metacritic. It's sitting at an 84 overall right now. Based on 67 critics is what it said. We got Xbox Era gave it a 100 or 10 out of 10, whatever. Well played gave it a 90. Spazio Games at 87. Those are just some of the scores. I'm gonna bring up all of them. Let's see here. Yeah, 100 from Xbox Era, 100 from Radio Times, CG Magazine, Hooked Gamers 95, Gamers RD 94, Impulse Gamer 92. I mean, there's a lot of 90s in it. Structoid 90, Game Reactor Denmark 90, Digital Trends 90, PC Games 90, Screen Rant 90, Games Machine 90, Well Played 90, Shack News 90, Dual Shockers 90. There's a lot of 90s there. There's a lot of high 80s going in there as well. And Game Informer is at 85. I'm just trying to look through some of the bigger publications. It's harder to notice, like, because IGN has so many different fucking branches. So you see, like, IGN this, IGN that. Windows Central gave it an 80. Regular old IGN gave it an 80. So it's had some, like, overall positive reviews. However, if you go look at the Steam score, it's, like, mostly negative. Now, I think that's mainly because there's been performance issues. There's been some crashes and stuff like that I've been seeing people complaining about. So there's been a little bit of stuff going on with that. The game maybe wasn't 100% ready for launch. There's supposed to be a patch coming. But overall, the remarks that I've seen from the gameplay and everything have been really positive. So I've actually really want to dive into Borderlands 4. I'm a Borderlands fan. Pong has said he's not going to get it because Randy Pitchford was on coke and said some crazy shit about, you know, if it's $80, you know, it's just like you'll pay what you should or something. Like, I can't remember exactly what he said, but when the rumors were going around that it was going to be more expensive or something, like a $79.99 game or something, he was like, you know, like, just get it. Just like it's worth it or something like that, like to where it's kind of like a slap in the face to gamers and stuff that kind of piss Pong off, rubbed them the wrong way. There's a lot of people on social media because, you know, us peasants that complain about the prices, you know, we're not allowed to speak our voice about price. You know, we got to support the devs and appreciate the artist and what they give us. And we should just be so thankful that games exist these days. That, like, wow, they're actually able to make a game. I'll pay whatever it fucking takes. Just give it to me. Oh, yeah, baby. So yeah, it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, because consumers should have a voice about pricing and stuff like that, with games, and especially in a hobby that we're we love. But I'm gonna fucking play the game anyway. Like I enjoy. Yeah, that's what he said. Thatch. He said, like, if you're a real fan, you'll buy it or something like that. Like, okay, that's a slap in the face of any fan of Borderlands that has a problem with the pricing. So that was like, I understand where he's coming from in that, but I don't. Randy Pitchford's fucking crazy a lot of times. He says a lot of stupid shit. So I'm not gonna let his words actually take away my enjoyment of a fucking product that he actually hardly even touched or whatever. Like, it's the devs there that are making this franchise at Gearbox. They've made three great Borderlands games for me in the past, or actually more because you consider the other kind of spin-off game, whatever they made. But to me, thinking that this is not going to be enjoyable would be silly. Like, I'm going to have fun playing it, so I'm gonna have fun playing that game at some point. I don't know if I'm going to get it right away or not, but we'll see. But yeah, Borderlands 4 is a big one that hit. So that was one that's a lot of people are talking about right now. The other one was Silksong, which was a highly anticipated game. And a lot of people have been looking forward to Silksong for years and years and years. And we finally got it released. They had announced a release date not long before launch, and it came out and it lived up to a lot of people's expectations. Silksong's doing tons of numbers. It's in Game Pass day and date. It's still selling like crazy everywhere. My daughter, like the other day, got in the truck after school, right? And she was like, have you heard of Hollow Knight? And I was like, yeah, there's a new one that just came out, Hollow Knight Silksong. She's like, yeah, my friend was telling me about it at school, or like this girl was telling me about it at school. It's like, oh, okay. So like, even with the younger crowd, this is a popular thing where it's even making the rounds of people talking about and platforming indie game like Silksong, which is pretty fucking cool, man. Like, it's pretty cool to hear those kind of games get talked about randomly. You know what I mean? So we'll see. We'll see how well it continues to do. I think it's a potential game of the year candidate. But yeah, that's two big releases in this past week, and that's not to put a knock on any of the others. Like I said, 2K officially released this past week, that I've been enjoying the hell out of. Another one that just came out is Cronos the New Dawn. I think it's scoring somewhere in the 70s ish or so. Good scores. I've seen people say good things about it. Another one is Hell Is Us. And I was just watching Dirt's podcast before going live here, and I heard Dirt talking about it, and he said he's really enjoying Hell Is Us also. So those are just 4 games that came out. I haven't been following Chronos or Hell Is Us too much. I think Hell Is Us is, I don't know how well it's going to do, but hearing Dirt talk about it actually kind of raised my interest a little bit. This is the one that's, I don't know if it's like a pure horror game, like, or what. It's like atmospheric, and maybe somebody in the chat has been playing Hell Is Us. I think is it officially been released and out there? I think it has. Yeah, it's described as a narrative-driven action-adventure game focused on exploration and investigation. But it's like kind of like an eerie vibe to it. I don't really know what to make of the game right now, because it kind of looks like a mixture of genres. So if somebody out there is playing Hell Is Us, tell me what's the best game to compare to, because when I've watched stuff with this game before, it kind of like gives me Death Stranding vibes, right? With some of the art style with the character and the way that he looks. But it's also got like action combat. But then sometimes it looks like a fucking Souls game. So I don't know what Hell Is Us is, and I want to be sold on it. Now, maybe I should do more checking myself into this, but overall, it's looked pretty cool. But it's sitting at a 78 on Meta, which is a good score. Some games, like if it's not over an 85, it's trash. I'm not one of those people. I think that there's lots of games that are in the 60s, 70s that I've super enjoyed, and even some games lower than that. But yeah, this one's been kind of one that's like I've kept my eye on, but it hasn't like made me interested enough to be like, I need that game. So like, if somebody's out there playing it in the chat, I want you to sell me on it. Like, tell me how awesome Hell Is Us is and why it's great. What game would you compare it to? Because it seems very unique and different to me. Like I said, another one was Cronos the New Dawn had just came out. September 5th was the official release date for that one. So that's like 6 days ago. And on that one, we got a PC 75. This is kind of another one of those games where it's like unique. This one's more horror-esque to me than Hell Is Us. But it still seems like it's doing some unique things there. It's kind of like two games that I've kind of been, whenever they've shown them at things, whenever somebody says Hell Is Us and Cronos, I've always got them mixed up in my head. And maybe it's because they were releasing around the same time. They've all been promoted around the same time at some of the same events, because they have somewhat similar-esque art styles to them a little bit. Kind of exploration-y, like I don't know. So Cronos the New Dawn, another one that's just came out. I do like seeing these unique games, new IP come out that's trying to do something different. So if you're playing Cronos the New Dawn, let me know what you think of that also, because it looks pretty awesome. It kind of reminds me of like a Dead Space / BioShock kind of experience, maybe, if that makes any sense. Maybe that's the best way to explain what I see when I see Cronos the New Dawn. It hasn't, another one that's like, hasn't jumped out at me and being like, I gotta get this fucking game. But it's a game that looks pretty damn cool and interesting also. So, man, overall, like, it's been a pretty damn good week for games, I would say, as far as releases go. NHL I'm interested in, but like, I don't know if I should add another sports game right now, because if I add another sports game, that'll just prolong my sports game addiction at this point. Like last night, I was just trying to get weekly spotlight tokens to unlock something and complete a set in Madden, so that way I could get an 87 overall card. Like, I was just on a mission. And that's the kind of shit that stuff will do to you, right? Isaac Hayes says, hi, friends. What's up, Isaac? How are you doing? Mac22TH54 says, sup, Mav? Hey, sup to you, Mac. Appreciate you being here. What's up, Thatch, as well? Fuzzy Tomato, how are you doing? Yeah, Fuzzy says, it's just because some of the women are really popular and they want to sell you stuff in Ultimate Team. Yeah, and I think they're also, like, this maybe go hand in hand with the NBA, trying to, like, promote the WNBA and make stars out of their players even more. So, like, if all of these people out there playing 2K become more familiar with the WNBA players and like, oh yeah, I remember them from NBA 2K, like, and yeah, like, I like the way she plays or something, it's like maybe make you more interested in the actual WNBA, because like there's been a little bit of a resurgence there, or not resurgence, but surge in popularity of the WNBA ever since Caitlin Clark came in and she started doing some of her things and kind of, taking over and creating highlights and stuff like that. The beef between her and Angel Reese has been something that's like fun to watch, where like Angel Reese was talking shit a lot about Caitlin Clark because she was like jealous of the attention that Caitlin Clark was getting and stuff. But then like, it's been a fun thing to watch. Dallas basketball team, the Wings, they drafted first overall Paige Buchers, which is like another kind of star player coming out of college. So they're creating more star power in the WNBA than they've had in the past. Now they've had players like Sue Bird, Lisa Leslie, household names in the past, but and several other like Tarazi, tons of different players. But so right now, I think is like this era where they're starting to create these like rivalries and like they're really trying to push and take advantage of the talent that's coming in there, right? So yeah, we see those players in my team in 2K, but like it's just weird seeing like Shaq against fucking Angel Reese in the paint. I mean, it's just not realistic. It's now that being said, Shaq against anybody in the paint isn't really fucking realistic. Because he's just a fucking animal. He's a beast. But yeah, it's even crazier seeing him against somebody like that, right? So, what's up, Mr. Waffles? Hope you're doing well. Shout out to Waffles, one of the best breakfast foods out there on the planet. Good with butter and syrup. But yeah, let's get in. Still by myself, so we're here rolling. This is like a Mavcast right now. But yeah, like I said, Pong wasn't able to be here this week. He messaged me this morning, said he's got some things going on. So he's not able to be here. Fuzzy sent me the tidbits thing here about 45 minutes ago, about 50 minutes ago or so, but he's not here yet, so I think he's just tied up, busy. So we're just rolling it as a Mavcast for now for this episode. But hey, we're rocking and rolling. Appreciate you guys. Let's see what else we got here. I wanted to get into the Nintendo Direct. So what my plan is a little bit of TGS talk, a little bit of Nintendo Direct, and then also I want to get into this patent that Nintendo was somehow successful in acquiring a U.S. patent for. But yeah, I want to get into we'll start with a little TGS talk. TGS with Xbox, because there was a post made by, let's see, who was it? Yeah, his name's Todd Commons, I think is his name. Todd Commons, and his title is Executive Producer, Premier Broadcast at Xbox and Microsoft, formerly Mighty Media, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, he's Executive Producer, Premier Broadcast at Xbox. So basically, he's in charge of kind of like a lot of the broadcast stuff that they do at Xbox. And he made a post that said, can confirm you don't want to miss this one. We're back with another Xbox Tokyo Game Show broadcast on September 25th. Be there. And this kind of was after the official announcement that Microsoft and Xbox had made. It said, mark your calendars for September 25th because Xbox Tokyo Game Show is back. Tune in at 7 p.m. I think it's Japanese Standard Time or Japan Standard Time, 3 a.m. Pacific Time. So that's fucking 5 a.m. here for studio announcements and updates. So when I had looked at the Xbox Wire post, they were talking about, hey, stuff from their partners, stuff from, Asian developers, different development studios in Asia and different parts of the world, as well as their own teams. So we're expecting numerous different kinds of announcements actually here at TGS. And the fact that the actual executive producer in charge of the broadcast basically saying, hey, can confirm you don't want to miss one, this to me elevates the hype a little bit even more. Now, supposedly the worst kept secret is, and the rumors have been going around, is that, and I think this started with Nate the Hate, I could be wrong, was that Forza Horizon 6 is going to be revealed at TGS, and it will in fact be set in Japan. Now, this has me excited. We've talked about it a few times already on the show regarding the rumors. But, knowing that those rumors are out there, right? Knowing what everybody's been talking about the last few weeks, for the person in charge of the broadcast to put out there, like, you don't want to miss this one, like, leads me to think that adds some more credibility to it. Now, I'm not going to say it's 100%, but it seems like some in the know are saying it's like a 100% thing, right? So if that happens, that's pretty fucking crazy. If that happens, that's pretty fucking crazy for at this time of the year to get an announcement of a Forza Horizon game, because I don't think we've ever gotten one at this time of the year before. I think usually the Forza games are announced around E3 time and then they release in the fall, whether it be a Horizon or whatever, right? Motorsport sometimes, especially with this last one, has been something that's been revealed at way ahead of time because it had been so long. And with Forza Horizon, this situation is a little different too because we just got Forza Horizon on PlayStation, right? They just finally put Forza Horizon 5 on PlayStation, and they have a whole bunch of new fans there. And I think maybe they're going to go ahead and capitalize on that with an announcement of the next game, as well as if it's set in Japan, it makes sense to announce it at Tokyo Game Show because you're going to get a lot of attention for that game being set in that location as well. So I think that's a good way to promote it. But I will say, for me, it adds the possibility that that game could be sooner than later. I'm not going to say this year, but it would potentially be something that I could see launching by next summer. If it is set in Japan, sometime in the next maybe like 7-8 months of a release window for Forza Horizon 6. The questions that I have are going to be, what does it look like? You know, we talked about it a few times already. City driving. Are they going to do Tokyo? Like, what is going into it as far as the actual game goes? Now, I'll be excited for it regardless, but I've already talked about it numerous times. Y'all know what I want. I want fucking Tokyo blown out. I want highway racing, all that shit. I basically want Tokyo Extreme Racer, but Forza. But also, I want to go outside of Tokyo too. You know, I want the countryside a little bit. I want the mountains. I want all of that. I want all of it. Has to. I want drifting. High emphasis on that. I want high emphasis on city driving, highway driving, especially. I want the whole culture of the tuner scene and the Tokyo racing and all that kind of stuff brought to life. So that would be what I hope for when it comes to Forza Horizon 6, but we'll have to wait and see if we actually get that. But besides that, at TGS is like a lot of different things we could expect. Like I think Final Fantasy remake part 1. I think we probably get a release date for that. I don't think we have already gotten a release date for that. Correct me if I'm wrong, everybody. Have we gotten a release date for Final Fantasy remake part 1 at coming to Xbox? I know it's been announced, which many PlayStation guys said would never happen. Oh no, they're not going to do that. They don't sell on Xbox. Why would they do that? Well, Final Fantasy 16 didn't sell well enough on Xbox, so why the fuck would they even bother putting remake? Yeah, so maybe we get a release date for that, possibly early 2026. That's what I would think, possibly. Sub Def Leopard, how you doing, bro? Thanks you for being here. Other than that, man, it's like there's been some speculation about Kojima's game, Overdose. Overdose could actually make an appearance. Like it's been kind of MIA. So I think the last time we saw it was when um, Jordan Peele went up on stage with Kojima. Was it at the Game Awards like 2 years ago, or Gamescom 2 years? I can't remember if it was that a Keeley thing. He brought Kojima out. Jordan Peele came out, and they kind of announced that there was going to be like collaborators, right, for like with this game, and they showed a little teaser of the game, which was like some kind of weird, trippy interview question thing. I don't really even know what I was watching, really, to tell you the truth. Um, but it was really weird, and yeah, it was like they're saying like some kind of repeated phrase, and it was like changing slightly each time they said it, or something like that. And then yeah, you had Jordan Peele was there. He's like super excited to be collaborating with Kojima on this, and then And then they said that Kojima said there'll be others as well. So we don't know who all is going to be collaborating on this thing. So yeah, we could find out some more information regarding OD and that project that he has with Xbox as well at TGS. And I'm curious what you guys think. Like, what do you think we're going to be getting possibly at Tokyo Game Show from Xbox? Ninja Gaiden 4, I bet we can expect to see that as well from Platinum Games, which is published by Xbox, so it's technically a first party game. But there's a lot of possibilities, man. Like, new game announcements. I was a surprise when, because they would have had the opportunity, just thinking about this, right? Last year at TGS, we're speculating, oh, what are we going to see at TGS? And you would have thought that would have been the perfect place to announce Ninja Gaiden 4, made by Platinum, and also the Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. But instead, they decided to keep it for the fucking January Direct and announced Ninja Gaiden 4 then, and had Ninja Gaiden 2 Black as a shadow drop. Like, that would have been a huge thing at TGS, but they just kept it. And that's kind of what Xbox is doing a lot these days. Like, we've seen numerous times where it's like, wow, they didn't show that at this other big show. No, because they just have so much stuff that they got stuff in their pockets ready for random different shows. So when I think about TGS, like Forza Horizon 6 is something that would have normally been shown at like a E3 or Summer Game Fest or like the Xbox Summer Showcase type event. But to have something like Forza Horizon at TGS, that's like stockpiling something big for what normally would have been a smaller event for them, right? As far as reveals go. Besides that, so there could be anything now at any of these shows at any time throughout the year. Anytime Xbox is showing up for anything, we now have no idea what to expect because they could completely pull something out of their ass that we've never heard of or seen before. And we're like, oh, what the fuck is this? Or, oh my God, that's a crazy surprise. We didn't ever think about Ninja Gaiden 4 could be at a fucking Direct in January. I mean, that's something you would normally save for like a huge showcase event. So, yeah, it's pretty fucking crazy. Like, we know that after that Summer Games Showcase, they focus on Outer Worlds 2 for that Direct, and we're gonna get that later this year still too. But man, like when I think about any time Xbox is showing up, now I don't have like crazy expectations, but I know that anything is possible now. I don't have like I don't have I don't keep my expectations down. I keep my mind open that hey, this is worth watching because we have no fucking clue what they're going to show. Right? I mean, we could get the price for the Xbox ROG Ally X as well because I bet that thing's going to be playable at TGS as well. People are going to be having their hands on it. They're going to want to promote that device again. And after, I think it's a good time when people are playing it, writing positive articles about it. That's the time to reveal the price, not just like randomly, like later, because then all the talk is just about the price. I think you want to get the price mixed in with the positive, like, oh, this device is awesome. Oh, and here's the price. You want people having their hands on it and shit. The Sousa says Redfall 2, hopefully. I don't think that's happening, bro. We can talk about expectations, but that's an expectation I think I will keep in check a little bit, that we would get a Redfall 2 announcement. The same thing with like Scalebound. Like, are we ever going to see Scalebound again? Probably not. I will definitely keep my expectations in check on that as well. That's like being a PlayStation fan and hoping that we see oh geez, I already forgot the name of that fucking game. What's the game that was released for 2 weeks and then has been erased from history? That came out, was it this year or last year? Fuck, I don't even remember. It's been crazy. It was the Games of Service Concord. Yeah, it got smashed like a puny fucking grape that it was. Concord released 2 weeks. Never seen again. It's like hoping for a Redfall is almost as bad as going and expecting to see Concord 2. Oh, there's Fuzzy. I don't know how long he's been there. Fuck. How long have you been here, Fuzzy?
Just for a couple of seconds.
Oh,
Can you hear
okay.
me?
Yes, sir. I can. Shout out to you, man. What is this your new setup?
Yeah, but it's not 100% at this point, but it's kind of there. Like I don't have the bracket for the camera, so I'm kind of using a, a, a old style tripod under
Mm-hmm.
the mic. I should have a better setup hopefully by next week, but
Okay.
yeah, still waiting on parts.
Right on, man. Well, thanks for being here, dude. Is your mic is a little bit of a feedback on it. I don't know if it's the right mic selected or if it's just because of the way the setup is right now. But
Yeah, let
just
me check.
it might just be because the setup hasn't been fine tuned yet or whatever. But that's fine. It sounds good. It doesn't sound horrible. But I didn't know if it was the webcam mic possibly. So I was just checking on that.
It's
Oh,
supposed to be my normal Yeti, but it's because it's sitting over the mic for the camera, which
yeah.
it won't be
No,
eventually.
you're good,
I
man.
think that might be part of it.
Right on. You still sound good. I can hear you plenty clear, bro. But yeah, I like your setup, man. You're like crispy, bro. Like what camera is that?
It's a Sony EV10.
Okay, so you got like an actual like camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking good,
Well,
man.
with me and the wife doing the independent filming stuff,
Yeah,
this will be my like podcast setup slash the backup camera for the movies and stuff.
nice, dude. Yeah, I like it. Um, well, I told the chat earlier I was going to be asking you about um Silksong.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you about Silksong. Because you've been lost in Silksong apparently, is what you had put, or what I heard you saying. I think on Dave's show,
Mhm.
on when we were there together on Sunday. So because we've had a lot of releases this past week, we had NBA 2K officially get released, Cronos the New Dawn, Hell is Us came out. You know, Silksong
Yeah.
had just come out. Borderlands 4 hit like what today, I think.
Yep.
So overall, it's been a crazy week actually for game releases, kind of how what I was talking about before. But I haven't had a chance to play Silksong yet. So I just want overall your impressions of that before I will get back to TGS.
There are parts that are easier and parts that are harder than the first one. If you enjoyed the first one, which I did, mainly because I played it on the Steam Deck a lot of the time, it's kind of a lot of the similar things with some minor improvements. But the big drawback now are some of the earlier bosses. Like if you haven't played um, Hollow Knight in a while, the first few bosses will kick your butt
Mm-hmm.
until you kind of get used to it. They've done a patch to make them a little bit easier, but I would say overall they're within reason. There is a like if you play it on PC, there is a mod that somebody made so you don't get the double damage. Like when you get bumped in the air and then fall down and take damage, like you can negate some of that stuff. But overall, once you get the tools as far as like the map or the quill for the map and stuff, it makes it a little bit easier as far as trying to figure out where to go. But overall, I'm enjoying it. I'm probably doing more exploration than I probably should because there's been a few areas that I went that were like one hit kill kind of things. But yeah, having fun with it. Played Hollow Knight. The last time I played was about a year ago, so I didn't have as much of a refresher. So I just
Yeah.
kind of hopped in. But it's not for I wouldn't call it a Souls like type game like a lot of people are saying, but I would say think of it like old school platformer. Take your time. When you mess up on a jump, just know you're going to probably get punished by either an enemy or your landing. Um, be careful of traps, things that look like, oh yeah, I should probably slash that line so I can get those beads. That might not be for the beads. It might be for spikes that come out of the
Yeah.
ground and pretty much kill you, kind of thing. But yeah, it's a ton of fun, but I can understand it not being as fun for everyone. It can be frustrating at times. Although I think playing it on the Steam Deck, I think the fact that if I do get frustrated, I know I'm not throwing my Steam Deck. So
Yeah.
versus a controller, I'd be more likely to throw the controller.
Mhm.
So I guess it calms me a little bit because it'd just be like, oh well, let me just cut it off and set this thing down, type of deal. But the controller, I like with what was that? Cuphead. I wound up smashing my custom controller after dying to the ghosts in one of the little tombs and stuff. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I remember the first Hollow Knight, I didn't beat it, but I played a few hours, and my main memory of the first Hollow Knight is that it was easy to get lost and not know where you need to go or where you're going, right? Like where do I need to go? Where have I been? How do I get back to where to go? You know, all that kind of stuff, because they don't even, from what I remember, they don't start you with like a map. You kind of reveal things as you go, right?
Mhm.
And then I think you could maybe unlock portions of the map. I can't remember exactly how it went, but there was like those benches or like and stuff, you know, and like
Yeah.
I remember being like, man, this is a game that doesn't hold your fucking hand at all. This is like, hey, here you go, figure it out, right? And which can be really rewarding if you're invested and that's like the main game you're playing for a long time, or it, it can be the enemy of a grazer for like somebody like me, you know, that likes to play games for like, hey, an hour, and then I may touch it again a few days later. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
like pick it back up. It's like I don't remember what I ate yesterday. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
I don't know how to pick up sometimes on a game like that unless like that's all you're focused on. I remember talking to
Yeah.
Indie Gamer before I played it, and he was like, "You might want to take notes and stuff, like have a notepad and like you know." And I'm like, "Man, I don't know. That feels like a little
Like
overwhelming."
homework.
Yeah, and I didn't find the actual like gameplay as far as like the fighting and mechanics and that like overly difficult. I felt it comparable to some other games that you can say are slightly harder or whatever, you
Mhm.
know, but it
Yeah.
was more about where do I go, what do I do? And sometimes I would just sit there and be like, I'm just wandering back and forth, just trying to. Hopefully, I see something new, you
Yeah.
know, and that's kind of what I ended up doing. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, like is this even worth doing right now? Because if I'm going and fighting these harder enemies and going all this stuff, is this what I'm supposed to be doing, or is this just a dead end? You know, and sometimes it was a dead end in that game, like where it's like, okay, I did all that, and then you have to redo it later because then you find out that's where you needed to go after you do something else, you know. So those were the things that made it good, but also frustrating with the first game. But I think that's also some of the stuff that people loved about it, is that it's like, hey, this is a game that is like you're telling your own story, figuring it out, and kind of beating the game. You know, it's really like
Yeah.
you are the one that beats the game because you are the one that is making every decision, guiding yourself along the way, right? And so I think that's why it's so rewarding as well, but that can be frustrating at times. So I've purposefully not touched Silksong yet because it's like I know with like as much as I'm playing Madden and 2K and stuff right now, I am so addicted to those games. It's like I will graze Silksong and you can't graze it. Like you can't go to it and then come back days later and just pick up where you left off and expect to know what you were doing and what you did and stuff like that. So anyway, that's kind of like um, where I'm at with Silksong right now. But I think it's probably it seems like you think the reviews and the feedback everybody is justified. Um,
I don't like giving things tens per
yeah,
se, but like it is a challenging relief in a way. Like it is the game you kind of expected.
Yeah.
About the only complaint might be some of the runbacks. I can say that's more like a Souls like at that point because the benches aren't quite as close to like the final boss or level boss areas and things like that. But other than that, I would say it's definitely up there. It's I would say a solid 8.5 to 9 for me,
Yeah.
only because I don't like doing tens. But yeah, it has everything you could ask for it. Um, I I think it's going to be a hard fought battle with game of the year conversations. Like Expedition 33 really knocked it out of the park for a lot of people. It was one of those stories that gripped me until I pretty much finished it. It was like, I want to see what happens next. I want to see how this gets resolved. I want to see, the story behind this and stuff. And that, hands down, was a breath of relief kind of thing. This is another one, but kind of a different sort of playing style type of deal. So it's going to be a tough call. Game Pass had, I guarantee you, at least two nominees, but I'm pretty sure there's more that have come
Yeah.
to Game Pass that qualified for that. Like Blueprints, I think, was another one. So,
Yeah,
man.
and people were like, I played quite a bit of Blueprints. Me and my wife and daughter actually played it together. Like,
Mhm.
um, and but yeah, like these like roguelikes, that are going transcending different genres, like it's kind of with the Blueprints. Like, it's such a amazing idea,
Yeah.
revealing the house as you go in different runs, and you learn things that help you get to the end. But man, that game can be very frustrating because you can make a run that takes like an hour to like an hour and a half, and then you realize, hey, I did all that and I didn't get any fucking thing accomplished for that run. Like, it was, I didn't get any improvements, I didn't learn anything. I have no fucking clue where to go from here. So then, that game is impressive, crazy, and unique, and like
Mhm.
I feel like that was kind of like this year's Balatro in a way. But like
Yeah.
Balatro is, for me, is like something that's simple to pick up and you learn more as you play. It's like a skill thing. You kind of learn what to do. Whereas like
Mhm.
Blueprints is like you have to find the right things.
Yeah.
You have to find the right things. And sometimes you could easily miss it because they're not just given to you.
Right.
Some of the puzzles or some of the passwords you have to figure out and all these other kind of things. Like, it's like, I know a lot of people are using books and looking stuff up on the internet to try and take shortcuts with that, because it can be pretty daunting to figure that stuff out. So that's one that's very
Yeah.
challenging. But yeah, that could be a game of the year contender. Silk Song, I think, could easily be a game of the year contender. I think we all know Claire
Yeah.
Obscura Expedition 33 is going to be a game of the year contender. And that
Yeah.
kind of like puts to bed that, remember all the conversations about how like Game Pass was going to kill creativity. Game Pass was going to be is just full of fodder, you know. Like, and then you look at this now and it's like the amount of good games you have hitting Game Pass day and date, plus also all the first party stuff. It's pretty crazy, man. I said this on Dave's show. Like, I guarantee you, there's going to be at least two games, two out of the six nominees, because I think it's usually six. At least two out of the six nominees for Game of the Year will have been day and date on Game Pass this year.
Yeah.
And there's several others that you
Guarantee.
could probably make a case for that you could say,
Mhm.
or might win best of their categories also. Like Ninja Gaiden 4 could come out and it could win best action game, or maybe
Yeah.
Shinobi does, or something like that. I don't know, but but like Ninja Gaiden 4 could end up taking that, or you could have fucking Outer Worlds 2 win best RPG, or something like that. Like, who knows exactly what all is going to happen. But I think ultimately at the end of this year, you're going to see a lot of freaking games nominated, and also for all these different categories that were in Game Pass day and date. And there'll be probably more. This may sound crazy, but I think at the Game Awards this year, there will be more games nominated for awards that were in Game Pass day and date than Nintendo and PlayStation had for releases this year.
Yeah, I believe it.
That doesn't, if you actually think about it, because we ran down like before on a couple different shows, like PlayStation's releases this year. There's only like what 4 or 5 actually official like PlayStation first party or not first party, but PlayStation Studios published games. That includes things like Lost Soul Aside, right?
Mhm.
And Nintendo, they only have a few. I think a couple of theirs could be nominated for Game of the Year as well. Donkey Kong could,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But we'll see. Metroid Prime 4, does it hit this year? Actually, does it get? Did they get an official release date yet for that? I don't think they
I don't
did. Did
think
they?
so. I guess we find out tomorrow.
Yeah. So tomorrow is Nintendo Direct, where they said it's gonna be 60 minutes. That's long for Nintendo Direct, man. So is
Yeah.
this the Nintendo Direct where we actually get lots of announcements? Because I've been waiting for the fucking first party game announcements from Nintendo. We'll see. I mean, a release date for Metroid Prime 4, maybe. I think there's gonna be some more third party stuff there, probably. But
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect anymore from Nintendo at these shows, man. Like, are we gonna see another Pikmin? Like, Fire Emblem, a new actual Mario game, another.
Yeah, we need to see a Mario game for maybe next year. A Star Fox would be awesome. Or some sort of F-Zero. I know there's like the F-Zero 99 or whatever,
Yeah,
but
man,
like
that's what I
a
want, man.
modern day, yeah, modern version. I mean, I forget what the other one that I bought. Um, that's kind of like that, but it's more like the game off of like the original PlayStation, where it's like the ships that you can combine, and it's like a hyper speed thing. I forget the name. It's like Hyper Flash or something like that, but
Hmm.
that one's pretty good. But a true F Zero, that's what they need.
Yeah, you're talking about the game that kind of looks like Wipeout.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hyper. Fuck, I don't.
it's
I don't
like
remember what it's
Hyper
called.
Flash or something.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called either. Yeah, I'm gonna be actually looking forward to tuning in. I won't co-stream it because Nintendo's fucking crazy. And it's also at 5 a.m., so I don't want to do it for those purposes
Yeah.
also. Um, but yeah, or no, that's not the one that's 5 a.m. It's the Tokyo Game Show. It's at 5 a.m. I think.
Mm.
Yeah, the Xbox TGS is at 5 a.m. What I don't know what time the Nintendo Direct is tomorrow.
Let me see. Do they have it on their site? Oh, I found the what do you call them? That game is Fast Fusion.
Fast Fusion.
But yeah, I think it's 6 p.m. Eastern. Did it just switched on me as I?
6 a.m. Pacific time, 9 a.m. Eastern. So it's at 8 a.m.
Oh yeah,
my time.
9. Yeah,
A 9 your time, Fuzzy. 8 a.m. my time.
yeah.
God, man. I Well, at least it's set out at 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Metroid Prime 4 release date probably, maybe some other announcements as well. Some gimmicky shit, probably. Um, it's interesting what's going on with the Sonic game, and a lot of people are talking about the new Sonic Racer, and Mario Kart fans are actually like, I might play this instead. So I think they had like over 1 million people play the early access thing, which is a lot for early access on a Sonic game or for the game preview.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Keep your eye on the Sonic versus Mario racing feud and battle. Now, I will tell you what would be awesome is Sonic versus Mario racing.
Mm, that would be fun.
Yeah. Can we get that? Like, remember how they had the Olympic Games or whatever? Mario versus
Mhm.
Sonic at the Olympic. Let's get Mario versus Sonic racing. I want to see that. That'd be sick. Shane G said I
Yeah.
played the Sonic racing demo. It's great. Now Shane G also had said, "Sup guys, went to New Zealand today. Borderlands 4 is phenomenal. Halo meets Doom with a much better story and humor than the other games. Yeah. I'm going to be getting Borderlands 4. I talked about it earlier in the show. I don't know when, if I'm going to get it sooner than later, but at some point here in the next couple months, it may be sooner than later. I don't know. It depends on how bad my FOMO gets, but I'll be getting Borderlands 4. There hasn't been a Borderlands game I haven't liked. So
Mm.
I'm looking forward to playing that too. God Emperor Sofa King says, wait, so Tokyo Game Show's 5 a.m.? Damn, gonna be tired. 5 a.m. Central Time. That'd be 6 a.m. Eastern Time, 3 a.m. Pacific. So, yeah. I might, if I'm up, maybe I'll co-stream it. Can I get up at 5 a.m. to co-stream a Tokyo Game Show Xbox announcement show? I cannot go to sleep. I don't know if I would wake up in time to prepare to do it, but I can pull an all-nighter and cover Tokyo Game Show. Do you guys want me? Y'all want us to co-stream? Will anybody actually show up at 5 a.m. to watch a co-stream for the Tokyo Game Show? I'll do it.
I'll have to make some coffee.
No, I'll do it. Like if anybody wants to come and watch it. It's on September 25th. So that's in 2 weeks from now. No, that's a Nintendo thing tomorrow. I ain't co-streaming the Nintendo thing tomorrow because they'll hit me with copyright strikes and stuff. Nintendo's crazy. So crazy that this is something else. So I said earlier I was going to talk about this. They patented summons.
Really?
Yeah, they got a US they officially were granted a US patent for being able to summon something to fight for you. This was actually awarded and granted. Nintendo's fucking crazy, man. Like, this is bullshit. Now, second off, what the fuck is the patent office doing? Granting these patents? Is there no research that goes into, like, precedent or anything like that? Like, for granting patents? Like, can I go fucking patent 2 pieces of beef with 2 pieces of cheese and 2 buns? And serving it at a window in a building, and then like sue McDonald's for like billions of dollars. Like what the fuck are they doing? Like how are they granting these patents of things that have been around? Like summoning something to fight other monsters for you or other things for you or something is like what the patent is. And it's absolutely asinine that they were granted this. Now what I want to see happen is them actually go after some other major publisher or video game platform holder that has a game that does something like that, and I want to see them get fucking crushed, bro. I want to see like Microsoft versus Nintendo over summons in a game, and I want there to be like a lawsuit in or something, and see them get absolutely fucking decimated. Not go after Pal World or some small indie dev that just has their first big startup game. I want to see them go after a fucking monster company and get their fucking brains beat in by fucking lawsuits and millions of dollars, and they lose and they stop this shit. It's getting absolutely ridiculous, man. Because are they going to go after Final Fantasy? Like, name the amount of things where you could summon something before Pokemon. I mean, this goes back into fucking like board games and stuff. Like,
yeah,
this goes back into the history of like early days of actual games in general. Like, how are you going to patent something like that? I don't understand it. So who is awarding these patents? How are they getting away with this? Can you patent anything? Because I thought you had to like prove stuff to be able to like patent something that it's your creation, that your invention.
There is some of that, but it's more so the money. To my understanding, for some patents, as long as you pay the 10,000, it may have been 10,000 back in the day. It's probably like 25 now. As long as you pay that patent fee and can show that it's not something that's already patented, um, yeah, you can pretty much do anything. Although, yeah, it's a weird thing. Like I think the biggest problem with patents is that there's no real enforcement for those that sit on them. So, like for example, like you said, you could somehow sneak through, put the patent in for a sandwich with two beef patties, two pieces of cheese, kind
Right.
of thing, and not even pursue anything for 20 years or whatever, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go after Wendy's, McDonald's, Wawa, any sandwich shop that they can get it. And yeah, there's no penalty for you not really protecting your patent or IP or whatever prior. Like it's weird because there's, without getting into tinfoil hat stuff, there's like patents for like the 100 mile per gallon carburetor from like back in the 70s that
Hmm.
I think one of the oil companies bought off of a guy, and yeah, they never found a way to institute it into cars because they didn't want to. They basically bought the patent, so nothing like that exists. Like you could pretty much have at this point you should have cars that be able to go like 200 miles on a gallon or something utterly ridiculous. But no, let the
Yeah.
oil company sit on that so you continue to pay for gas the way we do, kind of things.
So I'm going to read what this patent actually covers. Okay. So Nintendo's U.S. patent number 12,403,397 is meant to cover the following qualities: a console or other system is being used to run a video game from storage. The player controls a character in a virtual space. So pretty much, first off, it has to be a video game. The player can perform an input command to make a sub character appear. Summon. If there's an enemy where the sub character appears, the player can control a battle between the sub character and the enemy. If there's no enemy where the sub character appears, the sub character will automatically move around. The player can move the sub character to a different location on the field, and if an enemy is there, they can control a battle between the sub character and the enemy. How vague is that?
Yeah, it way too vague, but I don't know why they gave Nintendo that. That's like giving them a free pass to ruin gaming. Like that just sounds like a bad idea, but
Like off the
I
top of
don't
my
know.
head, I can already think of tons of examples with games that have had a sub character appear from an input
Mhm.
command where they go and fight enemies automatically, or you can control them. Like, it's crazy.
I mean, it could even affect, was it the 3v3 fighting game
Yeah,
genre as
yeah,
well?
yeah. You could look at it with that. You could look at it with tactics games. You could look at it with like Final Fantasy games. You could look at it with tons of different stuff. Like, how could this actually be awarded? First off, so I got to first criticize that being even awarded this patent, and secondly, the even audacity to go after patents like this that are so vague and just offer basic gameplay mechanics that have been in video gaming. Like, somebody had made a post and it was like, video games are just iterative. Like, they all have stemmed from the original video game and have evolved from there and taken different mechanics and like different ideas, and it's like, imagine if every company that came out with an idea, or even if they wasn't their own, somebody got a patent for it and they were enforced that and able to actually achieve getting everything shut down but their game. We would have so few fucking video games. We'd only have a few franchises out there because everything would be tied up in legal shit and nobody would be able to create anything. And it's just such an asinine thing for Nintendo, who's should be fostering creativity and should be welcoming any kind of homage to their legacy from video games about, hey, this is to think about different genre. Like, what if the Souls genre, what if they were like, hey, we're going to patent this style of game where there's like an area where you like a campfire type situation where you go there and like you apply your skill points and then the enemies all reappear in the world after you leave that area. What if like the Souls genre did that? Then you wouldn't have Souls likes. What if like Rogue, the original, or something like, you wouldn't have rogue likes. Like, you should be paying like, gaming is iterative. What if Mario, where if they're successfully being able to patent jumping onto platforms? Maybe they have that fucking patent. I don't know. But like, seriously, where the fuck does that start and end? If you're talking about not being able to summon a character and fight as that character or have it potentially fight for you, that is such an asinine thing, bro.
Yeah, it kills like even companion things. Like I would say, would that affect Outlaws or a game to be made like that where you have a sidekick that you can seek after, either an enemy to attack them or to get stuff off of them,
Yeah.
or
You could think of a million different. You could really, if you really sat there and thought about it, you could think of it like a million different situations where there's either like a companion character or sidekick character or summon type character that is used. It appears in the world after a command. You know what I mean? And then you can either control or does stuff for you, and involving enemies. Like, and like, I don't know, man. It's just, I'm starting to think Nintendo's like evil. Like, I don't know, man. Like, they've gotten so much praise and love from gamers in the space for so long because of nostalgia and like, but man, like their overprotection of their brand is a detriment to the rest of the industry at this point. And if I'm just a fan of the gaming industry, which I am as well, Nintendo's bullshit right now is getting over the top. It's getting way over the top. And they're a little cocky and full of themselves. Too much to where it's really putting me off. It's, I don't know. Anyway,
the whole thing that they talked about, like, was it a week or two ago, where they weren't really giving out dev kits for the Switch 2. They were like, "Oh, just make it for the Switch 1." And like,
yeah,
a
that's
device
great.
that you couldn't get third parties to do stuff for before because it was so far behind. You're just going to leave them at that, and
That's the whole point of being excited for
well,
the Switch 2 is that the third parties are going to be better. Now you're saying make it from the Switch 1 and then like, no, I mean, fuck, man. What the fuck are they doing?
I don't know. I know people look at me crazy when I say this. My tinfoil hat theory is that the only reason why they're beloved as much as they are is because of the music for their game. One of these days, somebody's going to do some sort of study and find that there's like a subliminal thing in the music. Because there's a few Nintendo fans out there that I go back and forth in the chat, and I was like, go ahead and play that game with the sound off and see if you have as much fun. Or turn the music off and see if it's as enjoyable. Because everybody was like, "Oh, Mario Kart is, or Super, was it Mario Kart World is so great," and I'm like, I mean, it's fun, but I wouldn't call it spectacular or anything like that. But it's like, yeah, turn the music off and see. And it's like, I bet you it's not as much fun. And yeah. And that's another reason why they get and or go and do like those strikes against creators because of the music, because they don't want people using that music and then people fall in love with that channel. And then
Right.
people would have a hard time explaining why is that follower so followed, or that creator so followed. Oh, well, they're using Nintendo Music. Well, there must be something in the music or something.
Yeah.
So
Welcome to Fun Speculation, everybody. Hey, we're gonna have a fun show today. Da 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 da. Yeah, no, there's maybe something to that, Fuzzy. I don't know, man. Because I will admit the music is very catchy. Like you can think of so many different Nintendo songs from their games in your head, and it's just like, yeah, stuck in your head, man. From all those years, and,
yeah,
and they also use the same songs over and over again in the same games, and just like evolve them instead of like have brand new songs too. That's fitting for franchises. You should expect that. It's like watching Star Wars and not have the opening to Star Wars like at the
yeah,
beginning. You gotta hear that. You know what I mean? But like they keep evolving the same songs, all these different games and stuff, and they Halo too, like the like the whole monk chants and stuff. Like you got to have that for Halo. It's not Halo without it.
yeah,
You know. So I get that, but at the same time, like, yeah, the gameplay for a lot of the Nintendo games is overly simple and kind of just like, bah, if you just really boil down to it, like, what are we actually really doing here? And is it actually really challenging or addictive or anything like that, or is it we just kind of locked into some kind of like trance? You know, maybe put a spell on us or something. Web Dave says I had check my inbox. I have a cease and desist from Nintendo. Yeah, maybe, maybe I do. We'll see. I'll just get a copyright. If I get a copyright strike from my horrible singing of Nintendo music, then we'll know they're fucking crazy. We'll know they're fucking crazy. All right. So yeah, I want to get a little bit back into TGS, Fuzzy. Like, so Xbox is TGS, 5 fucking a.m. Central Time, 6 a.m. Eastern Time on the 25th. Announced it 2 weeks ahead of time. And like I was talking about earlier, the like executive producer broadcasting whatever from Xbox made, hey, yeah, this is one you're not going to want to miss. I can confirm that. So Forza Horizon 6 is a given, I think.
yeah,
Like worst kept secret out there. It seems like it's going to happen. Especially with him saying that after knowing all those rumors are out there. Like he went out and said that after all those rumors have been swirling around for like 2 weeks. So I think at this point, this is what we should expect. Maybe not. I don't know if we should expect it, but I think it's probably going to happen. But I want to know what else to expect at TGS, and we'll get into more of this leading into TGS a little bit. But with those comments, it kind of seems like they are putting a little bit more into TGS this year. Now they have Ninja Gaiden 4, made by Platinum that they could show. We know Final Fantasy 7 is making its way to Xbox, so we could maybe see a release date for that. But I was talking earlier, Fuzz, before you hopped in, like I think Xbox at this point now where it's like every show you have no idea what to expect, or because it's just like anything can happen because they have so many different things. Like we never expected Ninja Gaiden 4 to be at a Dev Direct in January with also a shadow drop of Ninja Gaiden Black 2.
nah.
Because they had just had the Game Awards they could have revealed stuff at. They had just had a Summer Game Show. They had Gamescom and last year's Tokyo Game Show. Like you would have assumed, hey, that would have been the crazy great place to announce Ninja Gaiden 4. And I was like, oh, it's interesting that they didn't do it there. They saved it. But now, like, if they're saving Forza Horizon 6 for Tokyo Game Show, even though it's maybe set in Japan, which I think it makes sense, but like, even if it's set in Japan, still to save a Forza Horizon announcement, like they're arguably their biggest franchise right now.
Yeah.
For a Tokyo Game Show is pretty damn big thing to hold in your pocket. They could have announced it at Summer Game Show this year. They could have announced it at Gamescom, and then they're saving it for Tokyo Game Show. It means they're trying to make a splash there. but also they got enough stuff in their pocket that they can just do whatever they want when they want at all these different shows now, and they're trying to show up at everything in a decent way. So I don't know what else to expect. I mean, I think Wuchang Fallen Feathers is a game that already came out now, so we can put
Yeah.
that behind us. I don't expect to see too much from that. Maybe they show a little bit of it. That was a Game Pass day and date game that they had to deal with as well. But yeah, what do you have any thoughts about what else could be there? I have one fuzzy that might be a little
Yeah.
crazy, but I want to know if you have any other kind of off the wall predictions for Tokyo Game Show.
Not as much off the wall, but there is Kojima said he was going to have a presence there as
Yeah,
well. He's
talked
already
about
released
that.
Death
Yeah.
Stranding 2. His other project that's like that spy thing, I think is way too far from even really showing at this point. But he does have OD,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a feeling he might go into further detail or have some sort of showing at the Tokyo Game Show for OD. I think that is a possibility. Now, a far stretch could be that Death Stranding 2 is coming to Xbox, but I doubt that, at least that soon. But I think OD makes an appearance because of Kojima. But I don't know. The sky's the limit at this point. Like, we've seen how many trips Phil and Sarah have taken back and forth to Japan, talking to numerous smaller studios. And it was pretty much quiet as kept with them working with what do you call them, Platinum and the other studio for Ninja Gaiden. So I would like to see something more direct with Sega, possibly, but I can't think of what that would be outside of like their super game where they're well, not remastering, but remaking some of their classics like Golden Axe. I can't remember if they're doing an Altered Beast. I would like to see a modern rendition of Altered Beast from like a third person perspective, but that's a whole nother story. But maybe we get to see more about Golden Axe, Virtual Fighter, which I know there's the Virtual Fighter 5 Evo, but there's also supposed to be I think a new one, altogether new one or something. I don't know if that Virtual Fighter 5 Evo is supposed to be that specific one or not, but I would love to see a modern day Outrun or Afterburner, but
Yeah.
we'll have to see.
Man, that'd be cool. Afterburner. Um, yeah, I think Sega's onto something with these things. What about Altered Beast? A new take on Altered Beast.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty sick. Um, but I was thinking about this, and I'm trying to think of like, yeah, there's tons of smaller things that we could see. Either like, hey, this was on these other platforms, now it's coming to Xbox. Those kind of things. There,
Mhm.
there's also the possibility of like, hey, old remasters or remakes and things like that we've seen a lot. Coming from like some of these old classic JRPGs. You know, but something else I think we could possibly see if I'm looking for bigger splashes, right? Looking for something that make like, hey, this is Xbox and we're showing up big in Japan, right? Because if you already got Forza Horizon 6 there, it's going to draw a lot of attention. Okay. So
Yeah.
why not use that momentum and make another splash? So another game franchise that is due for an announcement is Persona.
Mm.
Persona 6. We know the Atlas and Xbox have been like this lately. They had what's the metaphor Refantasio.
Yeah.
You know, they seem happy with that. Like they have, they had the Soul Hackers had come to Xbox as well, stuff like that. So why not Persona 6 announcement in Japan at Tokyo Game Show and with Xbox there? Take advantage of the stage in Japan on your home turf. For Atlas, that would make a big splash. I would say
Oh
Square
yeah.
anything Square Enix is possible too. You know, because we're already like, hey, they're already doing Final Fantasy stuff, bringing it over. We know Final Fantasy Tactics is around the corner as well. That's coming to Xbox day and date, which is awesome to see. We have maybe an announcement that part two will follow part one. I don't know if they'll announce that until part one's out. But maybe something else Final Fantasy related could be announced. Any kind of next game or expansion or something or content or whatever. But you could also have just something Dragon Quest related. You could have numerous different franchises show up there for Square Enix and the like JRPG style games. Um, or you could also have something from Bandai Namco as well, because they've made a lot of really good games in that genre as well. So, but something else I'll throw out there just for the fuck of it. If I'm looking for, okay, so you have all your partners there, and they're doing all these things, and we know that Xbox is going to have developers there from Asia, making announcements. They said also global partners, so maybe other parts, maybe some European partners as well. I wouldn't surprise me to see something from like Age of Empires there as well, right? But if we're looking at first party stuff, now what if the developer that they got to do Killer Instinct 2 is a Japanese studio?
That would be interesting.
Yeah. To have now these rumors go back years, right? About hey, Killer Instinct 2 was in the works or is in the works. I remember Special Nick. Remember Special Nick got right the fucking Ninja Gaiden shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I will no longer question some of these things that he said years ago. Okay? Because Platinum Games making Ninja Gaiden 4, it's something you couldn't just easily guess. Okay, this is
Yeah.
not like hey, I expect this to happen. Right? This is so I'm going to say it before anybody else does. That way you can look like an insider. That's not what this was. Saying Platinum Games is making a Ninja Gaiden 4, and it was so off the wall that nobody really even fucking paid attention to that.
Yeah.
To actually get that, I'm paying way more attention to anything he's talked about with Killer Instinct 2 now. Right? So shout out to Nick for that. Because getting the Ninja Gaiden 4 shit right was fucking like, I'm like, okay. Like nobody else was out there talking about that shit and claiming that, and way before anybody even mentioned the possibility of Ninja Gaiden coming back. This was just something he'd heard, right? So something else he'd heard is the Killer Instinct stuff, right? That were looking for a studio, or maybe had gotten a studio. Nobody knew what it was. We knew. I presumed it was going to be Iron Galaxy, because they came in to do the like updates on the original Killer Instinct, right? So I assume, hey, yeah, it's just gonna roll into Killer Instinct 2. Yeah, they're just getting them on board and stuff. But then we'd had reports of layoffs at Iron Galaxy and all these other kind of things, and I'm thinking that's probably not them, because if they were ramping up to build Killer Instinct 2, then like there wouldn't be that, right? So maybe that Iron Galaxy was just brought in just to do those updates and stuff, kind of revitalize what's existing, while somebody else is working on the new game, or maybe they were kind of working hand in hand or something like that, And I don't know who it could be. Like we know Arc System Works is doing the Marvel token game published by PlayStation.
Yeah.
Right? So that would have been somebody you could have guessed. I don't think they're doing both things, because I think that Marvel token game is probably the biggest thing they've done yet. So I don't know. It could be any Japanese fighting game developer, like possibly, or it could be anybody else. It could be European, whatever. But anyway, fighting games are big in Japan, regardless of who it is. But what if it is a Japanese studio? It would make more sense. But I think if it is in the works, and it has been in the works, at some point we got to be due for an announcement of it. So I'm just gonna keep Killer
Yeah.
Instinct 2 alive in my mind for any time, just so that way if it actually happens, we can say, hey, look, I mentioned it, even though I had no fucking clue it was gonna happen. So yeah, Killer Instinct 2, I would say wouldn't be far fetched to see announced at something like a TGS. Um, Especially if the developer is a partner from somewhere like over in Asia or something like that. So keep your eyes open, everybody. We'll see. I think they got to be due for an announcement. The other reason I was guessing Persona Fuzzy is just because they're due for an announcement as well. I think at some point here. So but we'll see.
Yeah.
Sea Lord Bravo says, with sports really starting to ramp up, I've fallen a bit behind in terms of games discourse, but once the weather really starts to turn wretched, I'll be back to following gaming stuff big time. Your camera setup looks great too, Fuzzy. Yeah. This was telling Fuzzy, looks crispy, man. I'm a little jealous of his camera. You got to send me the link to that camera, man. Yeah, I want to, unless it's like
We'll do.
$5,000 or some shit like that.
No, no,
Okay.
no. It's. I mean, it's reasonable. But yeah, no. I'm not doing a 5,000 camera. Not even for the movie stuff. That
does this
at
one
that
have
point,
like
I would get a red.
Does this one have like one of those false battery things you plug in? So that way it's like a constant battery, or is it like.
You can. I don't have that the false battery setup just yet. Trying to find this size battery as a
Right.
false battery setup. It because it's this camera is like a 21, like 2021, 2022
Yeah, yeah,
model.
yeah.
Newer one versus that one. I think it's not worth, at least for what I'm using it for, it wasn't worth getting the newer model. It would be better as far as the touchscreen menu stuff, but
You're not really
yeah,
using that.
this one
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. Right on, man. Um. Well, any other TGS stuff we wanted to touch on? I'm.
Oh no,
I'm not a.
I think
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, I was going to say I think the big thing now is that even though I know Xbox had their stumble with Tango GameWorks, and I don't want to stir that pot anymore, but I think they have shown in that region that they are interested in doing business as well as working with other studios and fostering, you know, some creativity as far as bringing either IPs back and things along those lines. So I, I I wouldn't be surprised if we see some of the other studios that they've been visiting on a frequent basis that we may not have known exactly. Like I like your idea on the Killer Instinct because that fighting series needs to come back in a big way to some extent. Um, but I would love to see a lot more of the games that typically seem to skip Xbox uh, be front and center. Like
Mm-hmm.
the Wu Shang Fallen Feathers was an awesome looking game, and if they find more studios in that region, whether it's Japan, China, or Korea, it would be awesome to see what they have to debut there. And I think we'll see at least one or two of those kind of surprises. So
Yeah.
maybe we get our own Stubber Blade kind of
Yeah.
game. Um, we'll see what they have. We'll see.
Yeah. The other thing, like you mentioned, like so when the other thing that popped in my head when the Ninja Gaiden 4 was announced is that this is something that Phil had been working on for years, trying to make happen, and that it has been in the works for years. So when that announcement came out of nowhere, it's like, I mean, because they could have announced this in like 2022 when they did the whole 12-year roadmap or 1-year roadmap thing. You know what I mean? Like they could have announced it at that showcase, and everybody would have been hyped, and they would have had a 3-year hype cycle, and then Ninja Gaiden 4 comes out this year. But no, like kept it in their pocket for the release year. You know, um, and they've done that with several things since then. Like Oblivion Remaster came out this year. That was a fucking shadow drop. Even though everybody knew about it, like they just keeping stuff in their pockets. And remember, like he had talked about, yeah, we're not going to announce things until closer to release. Like, yeah, they've been doing a lot of that lately. Like actually announcing stuff the year of release now, or the year before, right? Like Doom Dark Ages didn't get an announcement until what, last year. Um, so the ones that are still been prolonged are the ones like the 2020 announcements and all that shit. And I just think they wanted to stop doing that. So like, what else is there for partner type games that they've been doing for those years? When when it was 2020, 2021, 2022 and stuff, all those deals that he was working overseas and in Japan and all these other kind of things, like what other shit like is there out there that we don't know? And are we going to just start seeing a yearly impact of it where there's something surprising every year? And it could be. And if that's the case, then maybe there's something to reveal at TGS that we have no clue. We'll see. Um, I'm just gonna kind of say hi to the chat a little bit, then we'll get into some tidbits. A shout out to Thatch again for thanks for being here. Talos Ray, thanks for being here. Talos, the Black John, what's up? He said, "Is there any rush for Killer Instinct with them pushing Invincible?" Hey man, plenty of room for more fighting games, especially the first party franchise. Yeah, I do think there's a lot of hype behind Invincible for a fighting game. But Killer Instinct is one of the top tier franchises if it's treated properly. Like it can be up there with Tekken and Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat if they have released a game every few years and keep it as a big franchise. But we've only gotten one since early Xbox One generation. So yeah, like, but imagine like every 3 years since then, if we had gotten a new Killer Instinct game, there'd been a lot of hype, and that franchise would be like singing just like Tekken or Street Fighter or any of the other ones. Now I think releases of fighting games have slowed down. Now it's like every 4 or 5 years it seems like, but if they'd even managed to do that, we could be looking at Killer Instinct 3 announcement by now, or maybe Killer Instinct 4. And it could be up there like, wow, holy shit, this is amazing. But yeah, we're not getting that. And I think they should, because I think they have something there. Because when Killer Instinct came out, it was one of the shining lights of the Xbox One. Right? It was one of the like things to point to, be like, hey, but we got this. And now you're going to put it everywhere. You even have a bigger audience.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
And you can mix IPs from like those other platforms and stuff. Like, I think that would be the bigger thing. They could expect, like you said, having it multi-platform, integrate, a PlayStation character or two, maybe a Nintendo character or two, and the dozens of characters that Xbox has as IP now. Yeah, they have content to last them for years.
Man, I could just imagine the fucking fighting game, right? Imagine Killer Instinct comes out and they really go all out and make partner deals. Like, we know these companies are willing to work each other right now. Like, PlayStation just had fucking Halo in a PlayStation published game. Okay? PlayStation just had Halo in a PlayStation published game. Forza and Sea of Thieves went out there. They put PlayStation shit in their games as well. Like, so imagine a Killer Instinct comes out. Imagine Killer Instinct 2 comes out. And it comes out and they do that with all the different characters. Because we've seen them use, like, I mean, they had Battletoads in there before. They had the Arbiter from Halo. They had a Locust, from, or it was a General Ram, I think. I can't remember. Yeah, they had big characters from franchises before, right? But imagine now, in this multi-platform world, and they are making deals with these other platform holders. Imagine a fighting game where you're fucking Master Chief versus Kratos, bro. Or you're Doom Slayer versus like Nathan Drake or some bullshit like that. Like sign me up.
Yeah.
You got a clicker from Last of Us versus a Locust from Gears of War.
That would be interesting.
I mean,
That
think of
would
the
be
possible,
interesting.
dude. This would be like one of the most fucking popular fighting games ever because it would be like, holy shit, what the fuck is this? We got fucking like video game characters that we all love across multiple platforms, all beating the shit out of each other. It's just fucking awesome. I remember like, okay, now if you bring it to Nintendo, maybe Nintendo's like, hey, we'll put Samus in there. Put fucking Samus from Metroid versus fucking like Doomslayer or whatever. You know, okay, you want to get a little silly with it. You have like fucking Sly Cooper versus Banjo. I don't know, dude. Like, just the possibilities are fucking endless with this stuff. Like, I would be over the moon if we got a fighting video game full of actual characters from all these different platforms. So you could say, oh, we get that in Smash Bros. Kinda, kinda. Like, they have some characters. Like, I think who was in Smash Bros. From Xbox? Was there anybody from Xbox?
Um,
I think it was.
oh, the Minecraft guy, Steve.
Okay. So and it's not really violent. It's like Smash Bros is competitive. I think they've had some Nintendo stuff or maybe some PlayStation stuff in there too. I can't remember. I don't pay as attention to the huge Smash Bros announcements when they reveal a character. It's like the earth shatters when they reveal a new fucking playable character. With Banjo, they had Banjo. That's right. They have it because it has a history with Nintendo too, right? Um,
Yeah.
so, but imagine like all those characters in a fucking brutal, actual, violent fighting game, like with yeah, it'd be sick, man. Kind of like what they did with Soul Calibur back in the day, where you had like Darth Vader and I think Master Chief. It wasn't Master Chief. There was a different Spartan in Dead or Alive as a female Spartan in one of the Dead or Alive
Mm.
games. I can't remember who it was. But yeah, you have some of that crossover before. But yeah, I want to see fucking them go all out with this shit, man. Yeah. So let's see. Shout out to Web Dave again. Says hit the like button. Everybody, thank you hitting the like button. Appreciate you. Um, Cyber Gunner, what's up, man? Hope you're doing well. Shane G, shout out to you. Thanks for being here. Let's see who else we had here. Sappho, what's up? Def Leopard, what's up? God Emperor, Sofa King, what's up? So it kills creativity. Oh, talking about if Warner Brothers would have never patented the Nemesis system, we'd be looking at games differently right now because other studios can do other things with with something like it. Yeah, 100%, man. And they just sit on that. Speaking of Warner Brothers, fuck. There's rumor going around that they might get bought out by Paramount.
Yeah.
And Paramount hasn't been doing that great themselves. So I think this is another is this another WB Discovery situation where kind of like both of them were struggling. Like AT&T was struggling with WB, Discovery was struggling within themselves somewhat, and they kind of joined forces to try and we need to compete and kind of join forces to be able to take on the other giants. And it says other seems like more consolidation. Like Paramount now will be potentially absorbing WB or purchasing WB. That was a rumor that started today. Was that in our Fun Spec fam?
Yeah. Or no, I think I put it in gaming
Gaming.
news. But
Okay, yeah.
I
Yeah, here we go.
I think there's another player out there looking to purchase them as well. But
Who
but Paramount
WB?
is going to make a bid. Yeah, there is another player. Unfortunately, it's not Microsoft. Um, I mean, they could probably still be in conversations, but there's a much bigger, well, not much bigger player. There is a bigger player as in the streaming sense of things, and they're kind of small in the gaming sense of things, but that's looking at WB as well. But yeah, bought a few shares just because I'm pretty sure somebody's going to buy them out and pay more than what they're worth at this point,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So,
And this is for all of WB Discovery as well, which includes
mhm.
HBO Max, which is now HBO again.
Yeah.
Includes all the DC characters, all the video games, the whole DC universe that James Gunn is now building, um, all of that shit. So yeah, Paramount and them getting together would be a major move. Like Paramount has things like Mission Impossible, you know. They have some big franchises too, you know. So like, they failed, I think, with the Halo show as far as doing as good of a job as they could have with it. Um, I think HBO is better at making original content than Paramount is, as far as shows and interesting things for movies. You know, like um, a show that me and Kate just talked about the other day a little bit was Task. It's a Mark Ruffalo show that just started on HBO. Really fucking good. It was only the first episode's out so far. We're really interested in keeping up with that one. But yeah, HBO kind of has that history of making good quality content. Paramount with the shows side, been a little bit like, you know, so maybe it would be a good marriage there. Um, I'm curious who the other player might be, Fuzzy, but it doesn't seem like you want to put it out there. So might ask you later who that could possibly be. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. There's been people talking, hey, I want Microsoft to get them. I want fucking Microsoft to get them too for the gaming implications of it, right? Because
Yeah.
WB Games, I think when WB Discovery first formed, they were like, oh yeah, gaming is awesome. Hogwarts fucking Legacy came out and it's just doing gangbusters. Yeah, but they didn't put in the years of work as that entity to get that game to where it was. And then they saw the success of that. Like, oh, hey, let's just do all this other stuff. And they made some horrible decisions. There was a lot. I remember doing a stream like several months ago where I ran down all of the shit going on at WB Discovery. And, you know, they had
Mhm.
somebody step down or get fired and somebody else put in their place because they were doing such a bad job. Um, and supposedly things are going to be better with the gaming side. But yeah, they had made horrible decisions, horrible um, cancellations, moving stuff around, just like not really fucking knowing what they're doing. And we're seeing with WB Games, we've been seeing the effects of that now, right? And I think like quickly, WB Discovery went from like, hey, the gaming industry is awesome. Look at how much fucking this was supporting all of our losses that we've been losing with the other shit because like Hogwarts Legacy is doing so good. They went from living high on that to a big bold reality check that if they don't handle things properly and do things well and really give the gamers what they want, that gaming's a very expensive endeavor when you fail. So it can be very profitable or it can be very bad. And if you're canceling things, shifting studios, turning down ideas, forcing studios that don't know how to make something that they don't know what they're doing with, and you hire for all of that, and then when it comes out and it sucks ass, then you end up like, well, that didn't work. Let's just start all over again and go back to what we were doing before. Oh shit. Now we don't know how to do that anymore because the whole team left that was doing that. Now we fucking got all these multiplayer guys. Like, manage your shit. Right? And I'm curious what Paramount would do with the fucking with WB Games. Like it's gonna be interesting to if this even happens, right? If this does end up happening, if somebody is I think is gonna get them, which we talked about numerous times when WB Discovery was formed. We talked about they're making a play to be eventually acquired by somebody else, right? Whoever gets them is going to be making some decisions about what to do with the different properties, different studios, all this other kind of stuff. So it's going to be very interesting to keep an eye on what happens to studios like NetherRealm, the Mortal Kombat IP, you know, the gaming side of WB, all of the stuff that they make once this goes down. So anyway, all right. Yeah, C. Lord of Bravo says, when I'm talking about WB on a roll, I'm talking about movies. Yeah, they have been on a roll of movies. They had like 6 straight movies over like some breaking record of this amount of releases in a row, hitting a milestone. I can't remember what the number was, but Yeah, they're on a roll of movies. Not so much with games right now. All right. We ready for some tidbits, Fuzz?
Oh yeah.
All right, let's get into it. And here is this next segment. All right, everybody, this is Tidbits, the segment where we look ahead at the games releasing for the week. And what do we got starting out this week, Fuzz? Oh, I know this one.
This week, Borderlands 4 coming to PS5, Series X and S, as well as PC this Thursday, or approximately now, for $69.99.
I saw Slow Mo just make a post about Borderlands 4. He said like his game's amazing, hampered by some performance
Mhm.
issues that they really need to get corrected. It's pretty much what I've been seeing around the internet, you know. So
Mhm. Now he's playing it on PC.
yeah, on a
I've also
4080
heard a few
Super.
that are playing on console that are having fun with it without any performance issues. One of them also took a trip to New Zealand before the day one patch, didn't have issues, and then I think the patch kicked in later and still playing great. So
Yeah. I think that PC is the main thing with the performance stuff.
yeah,
This needs some more optimization. Yeah, I got to get it. Yeah. It's just like
and
Borderlands is usually just dumb fun, man. It's like
yeah, there's just so many good games out there right now. All right, this next one is not a new game. I don't understand the motivation behind it, but Marvel Rivals is coming to PS4 this Thursday, which it's a free to play, as we already know. But for some reason, it's going to be playable on the PS4, but not the Xbox One. But I guess it's because there's still a lot of PlayStation
there's
players still on the PS4.
a
So
shit ton of PS4s still out there, and like I've seen people like we just need to only move to PS5 and Series X. Here's the thing: it's not like this game is being held back because it's on the PS4 or it ends up maybe eventually coming to Xbox One. Also, like this game is not a graphic like heavy, massive open world, heavily detailed thing. It's like there's no reason this can't play on a PS4. So if there's 100 million people that still have a PS4, I think they're just looking to make more money off those players, you know.
yeah, pretty
But
much.
yeah, it's yeah, look at those overwhelming graphics. Like we don't want that to be held back, you know.
All right, this next one is Lego Voyagers. I'm in the PS4, PS5, Series X and S, as well as Nintendo Switch and PC.
Is Marvel Rivals playable on a Switch?
Not sure. I I thought they had it on the Switch. Let me double check. No, it's not. Now, I would say since they did that PS4 port, maybe that's their in for the Nintendo Switch 2 port.
Yeah, I mean the Switch too. Yeah, I don't think it'll run on a Switch, but
Now, this next one is Little Witch in the Woods, which has been in preview for a couple of years now, but it's getting its 1.0 release. They postponed their 1.0 release a little bit because of Silksong, but I think Monday this will be available in the 1.0 state for 15.99.
Right on. Are you not picking up the sound from it? That's probably my fault. I have a setting messed up. Hold on. There we go. My bad.
This is for Xbox One, Series X and S, as well as PC.
Looks charming.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, I was getting Zelda vibes from the music a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Casey? What's up, Nate Dogg? What's up, Brett Bingham? Jax82, what up, man? True Serum, what's up?
Alright, this next one is No, I'm Not Human. Or, No, I'm Not a Human, coming to PC this Monday for $19.99. Now, apparently it's announced to also come to PS5, but no ETA as of yet.
Interesting.
Unmask the visitor before it's too late.
What do they like knock on your door and you gotta figure out who's human or not or some shit? Ah!
Yeah.
Man, this looks trippy, dude.
Yeah.
What the fuck? That's crazy.
Welcome. This is Henry.
Right, this next one is Henry Halfhead,
Everything.
coming to
And
PS5,
that's how Henry
Nintendo
lives everyday
Switch,
life.
and PC this Tuesday
Henry
for
grows up being a
$12.99.
curious explorer.
Poor Henry's only got half head.
Everything around them. The world is Henry's playground. As Henry grows older, they learn about responsibilities
Oh, Henry was a kid.
and that life is not only fun and games. Or is it? Help Henry be curious and playful again. And find joy in the simple things in life. Grow old with Henry.
There's that old man Henry.
Double the fun. Play Henry's not so ordinary everyday life in co-op mode. Henry Halfhead launches September 16th.
This is no
Alright, this
ordinary
next one
city.
is Skate. It's
In
early
this
access,
civic
coming
symphony,
to the PS4 and
each
5,
object holds latent
Xbox
potential.
One, Series X and S, and
On
PC
the
this
streets of
Tuesday.
San Amsterdam,
It
a
appears
great
it's going to be in a
migration is
free-to-play state
The
while it's in early
skaters
access.
are upon us.
I gotta play this to judge it, right? And I gotta experience it. But I was a big fan of the original Skates. I played the shit out of them. And when they announced Skate was coming back, this is not what I fucking had in mind. I'm just gonna say that. Like a free to play, like it's not even like realistic graphics and stuff. It's like ridiculous shit like this. Like the original Skate was a little bit more gritty and realistic than the Tony Hawk games. You know, and you had use your stick more for like the tricks and stuff, and like I remember just rolling around the courses or the city environments and stuff, and just loving that game. And it just doesn't give me the vibes of Skate. Yeah, I'd much rather play Tony Hawk now. Fuck that.
Yeah. This next one's a little bit of a unique game. Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3. Coming to Series X and S this Wednesday for $19.99.
It's one of those games. Puzzle fighter, I guess what you call it. Skate beta is fun, Marsh says. Right on.
Alright, this next one is Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. Coming to Series X and S as well as PC this Wednesday for $12.99.
This is a Deep Rock Galactic Auto Battler?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. How much did you say it was?
$12.99.
I love these kind of games. Like Vampire Survivors, like has just spawned this whole new interest in this genre. There's like one of these games releasing every fucking week now.
Yeah.
And
This one looks like fun.
Yeah, I like Deep Rock Galactic too. Like, I had some fun playing that. Like, so this is interesting to me. Okay.
Wee, not too shabby.
Alright, this next one is Lost Skies, coming to PC for $24.99.
Atlas, but your wars to obtain it brought us to ruin. Humanity's greed, it is boundless. We determined that your continued existence was unsustainable. A price had to be paid. In spite of its heavy cost, peace was won. We have shepherded an era of preservation.
It's like Horizon.
But we see that you persist. Calling out from the wreckage that you wrought. Now you build your ships as you once did. Pursuing Atlas with predation. And though time has corroded our hulls and withered our wires, we exist.
I see so much influence from different games in this.
You insist on destruction.
Imagine if all those different games had patents.
And so the cycle must repeat.
The little Skies of Arcadia in there.
We
Yeah.
will have order.
Alright, this next one is Strange Antiquities, coming to Nintendo Switch and PC this Wednesday. Looks like Nintendo's having a pre-order sale. It is now for $16.19.
What does she need? The items we stock are of an occult nature. Some are powerful, some are dangerous. Is this an evocant? It's on me to get this right. It has a stone of the earth. Well, that doesn't tell me much. Maybe the
Oh
answer
god,
lies
this looks like
beyond
a
these
game I'll be
walls.
playing with Kate and Kaylee.
Or perhaps it's hiding in some secret corner of the shop.
They love playing these puzzle games with me in bed.
Aha! This must be it.
Just like, I'll sit
Then why
there
do I
and
have this sense
fucking
of
try and
rising
figure it out
dread?
together.
Oh. Oh
Mhm.
no.
Strange antiquities. Is that it?
Well, not a bad week. Although
Yeah.
Borderlands 4 is the star of the show. For some people, Skate might be also the star of the show. But there are some other good ones like the Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. Definitely worth checking out. No, I'm not a human. I'm curious to see how it's received on PC. uh, it's eventually coming to PlayStation. We'll see if it comes to Xbox. And then Lego Voyagers, the co-op looked like it'd be pretty cool as well.
Yeah. Also, NHL 26 comes out tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
So that's a big one for many people.
Yes.
I kind of want it.
I'm sorry I missed that one.
No, you're good, man. I kind of want it, but it's like I'm playing a lot of Madden right now in 2K, so it's usually like if I do pick up hockey, it's like later, you know.
Mhm.
But man, I used to like that. Did you ever try the EA Sports Hockey League thing when that first came out, Fuzz?
Yeah.
Like they had like 5-on-5 online team play, and like me and my buddy, like we would create a team, and then we'd go in there, actually recruit players for us. We ended up getting like 4 or 5 people or whatever, and go in there and you go against other teams, and you actually have your name of your team, you have a record, and like there was like seasons and all this stuff, and like man, it was super competitive and fun. Then it kind of melted away over time. I don't even know if they still have it to that extent anymore. But hockey was the best really the first that got the like 5-on-5 team play down. That was before NBA games started doing it. Like now I think 2K is doing a really good job with online stuff. But before then, like they really had it down because like just the way the hockey is, if you scored a goal, it's like fucking big deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just exciting. If you scored a goal with your team and stuff, and like everybody would have to really make sure they play their position properly. NBA, the issue I have playing online with different people on NBA is everybody wants to be the fucking star.
Yeah.
If you it's either like 2 or 3 people are playing together and then there's a couple randoms, and if you're the random in that group, you're not fucking touching the ball. Right?
Yeah.
Or there's one person, and it's usually a guard, and you inbound to them, and they just will. They think they're Michael fucking Jordan, right?
Yeah. All
You
hog.
know, it's like everybody wants to fucking be Michael Jordan when they're playing NBA 2K, and like I play it online, like you would play team basketball where you're like actually looking for players that are moving and cutting, and you're passing the ball, and if you get double teamed, you move it to the open guy, like all this kind of shit, right? You're trying to actually guard your own player that you're playing against. You're actually trying to not just fucking run to the ball everywhere. You try and give support when you need, like all this kind of shit. Actually trying to play team basketball. But nobody does that actually in fucking NBA online. It's like everybody is like every man for them fucking selves, unless they are friends, and then they'll look out for each other. So it's not as good of an experience as the EA Sports Hockey League used to be, because you developed a team, and it was like really it stood out. If somebody wasn't doing their job, there was a huge penalty for it, because that's what led to the goals for the other team. Anyway, miss those days of playing that mode a lot, but yeah, maybe I'll pick it up this year earlier because I'm so much into sports games right now. But Borderlands 4, man. I need it. I think I need it. All right, Fuzz. Well, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Tell everybody where they can find your rambles and rants, sir.
Well, it was awesome being on here with you tonight. Sorry for being late and everything. Still trying to get used to this camera setup and stuff, but still got to wait on some more stuff coming in. But always a pleasure doing this. Love talking about tidbits and the gaming industry as a whole. And for those that want to hear my, like you said, my rambles and rants, just go on social media, do a search for Fuzzy Belvedere. You'll be able to find me.
Right on, bro. Thank you, Fuzz, and everybody. Appreciate you being here. We'll be back next week for another show. I don't know if I'll be doing any guesting things this weekend. We'll see if anybody hits me up or whatever. But you can also keep an eye out for new episodes and content going up on me and my wife's new channel, Sup Babe. And we just had our first podcast episode published on Sunday night. So if you go check out Sup Babe Network on YouTube, you can find me and Kate's first podcast over there. We're going to try and do it weekly as well. We just recorded a food vlog last night. I don't know if she's going to get that up. She's working on it right now, she said. So try and get that uploaded, where we had some Wingstop last night. So, but yeah, check out that content if you want something other than gaming. You just like the kind of lifestyle and food and random conversations and stuff like that. But yeah, thank you everybody for being here. Appreciate you. As well as one other note thing. Yes, I've heard multiple people asking. The show will be going up weekly now, again on audio platforms. I just got the last episode up onto audio. You know, we had taken some time away from doing content and came back. We've been back now maybe 5 or 6 shows, I think, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I just got to the point I'm starting to put it back up on audio now. So got the last one up. I'll be putting this up on audio as well. And you also be able to find the Sup Babe podcast over there on audio also. So thank you, everyone. Have a good one. See you later. Peace out. Good night.